Hey peeps, my name is Naisha and welcome to my channel. Today we're back on choices and Olympus Rising has just come out, and basically it says modern mortals live unaware of the gods who walk among them. You're about to become one. Now, two chapters have already been released, and I'm just gonna give you my thoughts and opinions on those two chapters and if I am going to continue the story or not. Also, there will be spoilers, so I'm just warning you right now, there will be spoilers. And also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So let's get into the video. So now, our character, you could make our character, it doesn't matter, you can make the character female, male, or non-binary, looking like having like female body or a male body, it doesn't matter. But after you make your character, I'm just gonna go with Iris, because I made my character female and stuff like that. So default name is going to be Iris. So anyway, Iris basically she is a flower shop owner with her father. She and her father, they own the business. That's what it seemed like in the beginning. So when you do meet your main character, Iris, she's basically in a flower shop talking to a flower, and um she's trying to coax the flower because the flower, like, you see a picture of it and it looks dead. Like, it looks straight up dead. And then she says, come on, you could bloom and stuff. And next thing you know, the plant is alive and stuff. Like, the plant is fully bloom, and now she's trying to figure out how come this plant is fully bloom. And she tries to talk to her dad and stuff like that, but he chalks it up as like she just takes after her mother, who has a green thumb. And we get we get um we get Iris basically saying to her dad, like, she wants to know more about her mother because he don't really talk about her that much. And he doesn't really say too much and stuff like that. But the plant that she had revived is actually their neighbor's plant. And Iris thinks that her neighbor is going to pick the plant up today. However, her father tells her that the neighbor is still is in the hospital, and like the baby is being stubborn because their neighbor is pregnant and stuff like that, and the baby's being stubborn, the baby won't come out, so they're just waiting. Like, the neighbor's just waiting for her child to come out. So of course, I was like, oh, okay. She didn't really think nothing of it, and she's just like, okay, well, we just keep the plant for a few more days until the neighbor like give birth, and whenever she has time, she'll get the plant, or Iris will take it to her. Anyway, her father goes home and stuff while she's still in the shop because she's gonna close up. So he went home. Anyway, as she's closing up, you see a figure um come into the shop. Now, when you see the figure, you as the reader slash player, you realize that, like, okay, this look like a monster, because like I'm sorry, but like her being in cloak didn't do anything. You could see that clearly this thing ain't really human. But nonetheless, Iris is like, hey, we about to close up. You could just come back tomorrow. And then of course this thing, is just saying, like, just come in, come closer and stuff like that. It's basically luring Iris to it. And once like Iris gets close to it, it reveals itself, and it is actually a siren. And not only is it a siren, but there's two more that comes like into the shop. And of course, so Iris is outnumbered, and she gets the scissors. She ended up cutting one of the sirens and stuff like that. But again, it seems like, okay, she's outnumbered. You know, it seemed like, oh, ish. It looked like she's a goner. However, in comes in Apollo. And of course, he's helping, but he tells Iris, he just says, like, you need to wake up. And then as soon as he said wake up, like, that's when Papyrus comes to life, and she and Apollo end up basically, managing to defeat the sirens. And they have one more shot. Like, the two go away, but the other one that Iris has detained by the plants is still there. And Apollo says you could either spare her, or you could either kill her. And of course, in this choice, basically, this choice basically represents the godly persona that your character takes. There's two of them, Bloom and Reap. And I chose to spare, which is Bloom. That's the Bloom choice. The Reap choice was, of course, kill. But I decided to spare, mainly because side note, but mainly because the reason why I decided to spare is because choices like to do this little number where if I don't know, I just feel like choices like to do this little number, like, you might need the siren in the future, you feel me? So if you killed the siren, it's like what if you need their help? So that's why I was like, you know what, just in case if choices pull that ish this time around, let me just spare. But anyway, she ends up sparing the siren, and the siren goes. And of course, Iris is talking to Apollo and trying to figure out what is going on. And Apollo basically tells Iris that he had a vision of her, and also that she is the one that could save his family. And also to let him know, and also to let her know that her mother, who is Demeter, is missing, and that Iris needs to take her place until they can find Demeter and see what happened to her and stuff like that. And so, of course, Iris is very like calm with it. Like, she's like, okay, she takes this in very calmly. Anybody else would be like, excuse me, I know you joking, I know you lying. Nope. You know what? I don't want to hear it. But and even if she wasn't calm, basically Apollo tells her, like, hey, you could either come with him and actually, help and be safe, or she could stay in the shop and just be in danger and stuff like that. And of course, she decides to go with him to not only find her mother, but also get some more answers, because this is strange to her and stuff like that. And so she goes with Apollo, and she also meets Hermes. And as they're talking, Apollo has an idea. Like, he wants Iris to basically take her mother's place, like basically sit on her mother's throne, and help out, because everything is just everything is wonky because they can't find Demeter, because she's she's like the balance between life and death. And so, and of course, Iris, she puts two and two together, because she was like, wait, her neighbor, like, like it's supposed to give birth, but the baby won't come out. So she's thinking like, oh crap, like, so is her mother being missing? Is that the reason why, like, this stuff is happening? And so of course she wants to help, and Apollo's plan is to get her on the throne. And in order to do that, he has to get Zeus, Hera, and Poseidon to accept um Iris. And in order to do that, he needs the help of Aphrodite. So they go to Aphrodite, but before they go to Aphrodite, of course they have a little like, time together, mainly because all of this has been a lot for Iris, and she just taking in this information. So of course, she's probably like frizzle and stuff. And so Poseidon ends up taking her up to the clouds, getting her to relax, and just talking to her to see how she is feeling. And I actually like that part. I actually like that they get to talk and stuff like that. And then after that, they go to Aphrodite, and of course, there's a orgy just happening, like at like Aphrodite's sanctuary. And they meet Aphrodite, and of course Aphrodite says that she won't speak on Iris' behalf, but she will be there for moral support and stuff like that. She also helps Iris change into an outfit, and I'm gonna be honest about the outfit. The outfit was given club outfit. The outfit was not given demigod to me. I'm sorry, I wasn't getting like a demigod vibe. I was getting going to the club, and I get it that like the gods, because even Apollo said that, like, they have blended into, like, to the world and stuff like that. But it's like the outfit that she's wearing, it just looks like a club outfit to me. It's like she could just wear a club outfit. I didn't really get it. Like, the only thing I could say was interesting is because Aphrodite said that, like, the outfit was stain proof and stuff like that, and I guess it's supposed to be kind of like an armor in a way, but cute armor and stuff like that. I feel like that's the only interesting thing about the outfit per se, but still, it's like, really, this is like a club. I just wasn't impressed. Um, Love the color though; it was gold, but still wasn't really impressed with it because it just looked like a random club dress. Um, to be honest, it kind of looks similar to the dress that, like, you see Aphrodite wearing in the picture and stuff. It kind of looks like that, but a little bit different. But yeah. So anywho, while Aphrodite gives her the outfit, Aphrodite also gives her a pointer on how to basically like, score with Zeus, Hera, and Poseidon. She gives her tips. And after that, they go to where Poseidon, Hera, and Zeus is at. And so when they go up here, basically, I want to say, like, it's a building, but it's disguised, like, it's like, Olympus, but it's disguised, like, the building is the disguise and thing like that. So they go up there and they meet Zeus and Hera, and of course Zeus says off the back, "Nice to meet you, but you're not getting Demeter's throne. Like, you're not sitting on Demeter's throne." And that's how chapter 1 ends. Now, what I forgot to mention about chapter 1 is also in the beginning, you get a battle with like Zeus, Hera, and a few more of the gods. You don't really see the other gods, you just see Zeus and Hera, but they're fighting the Titans and stuff. And they're able to defeat the Titans and also Zeus' father and stuff like that. And so yeah, you see that in the beginning. Also, um another thing I forgot to mention is that you get different divine powers. The first power you get is in chapter 1 is growth. So yeah. Um that's the divine power that you get. Now for chapter 2, of course, like we left off with Zeus basically telling Iris, like, yeah, you're not getting your mama's throne. And of course, Iris like, well, why did you invite me in here if you wasn't like, so what's the point of me being here and stuff? And of course, basically they wanted to just see her, and I want to say that Apollo and Aphrodite is like saying that they should give her a chance. Aphrodite actually speaks on her behalf, which Iris is shocked about because in chapter 1, Aphrodite said she wasn't going to do that. So now that she's doing that, Iris is kind of confused, but she's grateful for it. But, she just, she noted that. Anyway, she pleads her case to Zeus, Hera, and Poseidon. Poseidon, he just walks up all casually like, what up, dude? He's like going with the flow, which I find to be hilarious and stuff like that, because that's the first time I ever see like, Poseidon ever portrayed as like going with the flow, like, because like he's like like because like when you see him, he looks like a hippie. Like when you see his avatar, he looks like a hippie and stuff like that. And so it's just very interesting. So Iris pleads her case, and they end up basically saying that she could be on her, she could take her mother's place for now. And so she sits on the throne and she feels a bit more powerful and stuff like that. And of course, Apollo and Aphrodite wants to celebrate her, getting the throne at this moment. But before they do it, I'm thinking either before or after. I'm still gonna mention this because I forgot when it happens. But basically they go into a room. If I'm not, I feel like it has to be after. Yeah, it has to be after. So I just talk about it after. But basically, they go to celebrate. They go to this little club where all the demigods and gods go and stuff like that. And they end up talking to a bartender. And I just thought this interaction was kind of funny because the bartender happens to be one of Zeus's side piece. And and he's trying to deny being Zeus's side piece, but you could tell that he was Zeus' side piece. So I just thought that was hilarious because it's like, yo, like, you don't have to, like, you could have just said, I plead the fifth, okay? You don't have to make it obvious because, like, the way he's tripping over his words and stuff like that, it's like, okay, it's obvious he slept with Zeus, but he don't want Hera to know. That's understandable because I feel like Hera gonna be on his booty. So anywho, but Iris and Aphrodite and Apollo, they're just, having fun. And of course, Iris ends up talking to Aphrodite and asks her, hey, you said that you wasn't going to stick up for me, so what changed your mind? And of course, Aphrodite tells Iris a bit of like why, and basically it's because like Iris' mother basically helped Aphrodite get a divorce from her husband because she was married to Help. I am not about to pronounce his name. Y'all not about to make me pronounce, like, nah. Now, like, I'm just gonna just say help. His name, like, I'm gonna give him a nickname because, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. But anywho, as soon as they have fun, um, Iris ends up being tired, and she asks, "Where do she sleep?" And they bring her to her mother's room, and she goes into her mother's room, and she hears a knock on the door, and she assumes that it's like either Apollo and Iris, but it's actually, I want to say her name is Hestia. She's another goddess, and she basically tells Iris that she is her auntie. Well, not really her, like, she explains that she and Demeter and Hera are not like actually sister, but they come from the same lineage and stuff like that. So yeah, Hestia still sees them as family. What they all see each other as family. So, you know, Iris, is Hestia's niece in a way. And of course, Hestia talks to Iris about her mother because Iris wants to know more about Demeter. She also gets to know that she has a half sister, as we already know, is Persephone. And after that, she gets some sleep and she wakes up. I think they get breakfast, but and yeah, I'm thinking they get breakfast and stuff like that. But after the breakfast, I'm thinking they have breakfast. I'm not sure. But the point is that they go into this room with a whole bunch of mirrors. And Aphrodite does this trick where, like, with the mirrors, because Iris she needs Iris to be there because Iris has connection to Demeter, and she is Demeter's daughter. And so they basically find out where Demeter was last at, and she was at her own sanctuary. We This is where we get to find out that all of the gods have different places. They like, they sacred place and things like that. And so they go to Demeter's sacred place, and of course, Iris, she feels something. She even starts to have a second divine power, which is, I want to say, what is it? Is it psychometry? I feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong. But basically, like, when she touches the trees or the plants and stuff, she ends up seeing the history behind, well, not the history, but she ends up seeing flashback of what happened and stuff like that. And of course, Hestia, Aphrodite, and Apollo tried to help, like, Iris to, like, improve more on this power. And she asks Apollo for help, and Hestia tells Iris to close her eyes and have Apollo just do something, and then once he finished doing what he does, she tells Iris to open her eyes, and for Iris to just figure out what did Apollo do. And she ends up doing it. She finds out that Apollo basically was shining a light, like, well, not the light, but shining the sun bright on one of the plants and stuff like that. And after that, it seems like, hey, she's good to go now. Now she has this power. And um and also the place where Demeter, like, her sacred place, is destroyed, by the way. It's very destroyed. And she ends up touching she ends up touching or something like that. I want to say, yeah, she ends up touching, and she basically has a flashback of what happened to Demeter. Apparently someone had came in. Demeter knows who he is because Demeter's like, you. And of course, Demeter is fighting druids and sirens, just fighting all types of creatures because this being, this powerful being basically unleashed these creatures on Demeter, and she ends up getting captured by this person. And Iris comes back, back to reality and tells Apollo, Aphrodite, and Hestia what she saw and what she felt. She even said she didn't even see the person who, the intruder who, took Demeter. So Hestia ends up, well, I'm trying to figure out, they end up realizing, like, okay, they back to square one, but now they figure out, like, they know, like, they figure out, like, okay, someone's behind us. And so before they go back and talk to, Poseidon and Zeus and Hera, Iris has to heal Demeter's sacred place because it's literally been destroyed. And so Hestia gives her a potion. She takes the potion, and then she puts her hand to the ground, and it seems like she feels something, but before she can even do anything, a minotaur comes out of nowhere and it's like, no, we can't have you doing that. And that's where chapter 2 ends. And yeah, hopefully I gave y'all all the details. If I missed anything, please let me know down in the comments below. But anyway, let's get to my thoughts. Now, I'm gonna be honest, it's kind of giving the adult version of Percy Jackson in a way. Um I'm just being honest. That's what it's kind of given in a way. And I'm only talking about like how the like how like the god, like either the god or the goddess, leaves their child with the regular degular parent, and the child grows up without that particular parent and stuff. That's the only part that gives me that vibe. And also the missing mother vibe as well. That too. But I would say that it was actually interesting. I actually like the whole golly persona. Like, you get to either like do the bloom or reap. Um, and what else? I think I want to say reap, if I'm not mistaken, because I'm trying to think. Um, I'm trying to think what the persona details, because I think they said that bloom. Okay. Bloom is the path of growth, spring, and chaos. And reap is the path of endings, winter, and order. And basically, whichever one you choose, you got to choose wisely because it could be a life and death situation. Um Also, I forgot to mention that in chapter 2, you also get another choice to, like, another bloom or reap choice, and I chose the reap choice because Um, either Zeus or Herod, they ask you like what you tend to do with the power, and the two choices are like Bloom choice is to help others, Reap choice is to basically have a balance between life and death. Like, no, it's to restore the balance and stuff like that. And so I chose Reap that time because it's like, yeah, you want to restore the balance. You want there to be the balance. Like, if like one side is, greater than the other side, that can create some type of chaos. You never know. So that's what I chose. But either way, I find it to be interesting. I find it to be okay. Um, I think the main thing that I just was like, this is. I kind of wish there was more. I kind of wish there was like, in my opinion, me personally, I really wish we could see how Demeter looks and stuff because you don't even get to see how Demeter looks. I'm just saying. Um, you just hear about her, but you don't see her. Even in like the little flashback that Iris get, you don't see her. You just hear her, but you don't see her. And it would be nice to actually see how she looks and stuff like that. What else? I don't know why, but I just feel like it was all right. Like there was nothing bad about it. Everything was just nice. Everything was okay and stuff. Like, cause yeah, there's really nothing. I'm kind of dissatisfied. I'm kind of dissatisfied because I'm trying to. Because by the way, I don't edit none of my videos. I just want to let y'all know. So, I'm sorry if this is just a whole bunch of random hot mess, rambling hot mess. Yeah. Sorry if this is just a whole rambling hot mess. By the way, I did enjoy the story. It was very entertaining. I am going to continue to um, play this because it seems interesting. Especially, it left on a cliffhanger. Like a minotaur came out of nowhere, and I think he threw something at her. Either way, it just like seems very interesting. I want to see where this takes us. Also, I want to see if they bring Stephanie because I was like, I thought it was kind of interesting because they said that they need someone to take Demeter's place. So I'm thinking like, so you couldn't ask Stephanie? But then I realized she probably can't come right now. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I have to. Yeah, that's really nothing to say about it. So far, it seems interesting. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like, especially if you have watched Locum 23 playlist or if you are a VIP member yourself and you are playing it yourself. Let me know what you guys think of it. Also, oh yeah, there's one thing I thought, like, I was like, oh, that sucks. Is the fact that, like, it seems like I'm talking about Apollo and Aphrodite, it seemed like they are your only two love interests so far. And I thought that was kind of, like, crummy because I ain't gonna lie, I looked at Hermes and he was good looking. I was like, now how come he's not a love interest? He's a cutie. I would go for him. But you know what? That is all right. We'll just see where the story takes us. I'm very curious what all the divine powers are, and also how the godly persona will affect and stuff like that. Cause the way I'm playing it, it's like I'm playing it like a balance between Bloom and Reap. in a way. I want to see how this goes for me, and I will definitely keep you guys up to date. And that's all I have to say about this about Olympus Rising. So far it's good. Chapters 1 and 2 were nice. Definitely waiting for chapter 3, since it says someone is after the new demigod on the block, and someone is hiding a secret that would change your life forever. So I'm curious to know what the secret is. So yeah. But that's all I have to say. If you have lasted this long, I want to say thank you. I appreciate it. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because it will mean the world to me and it brings people to my channel. And until next time, see ya!